Ah!
Awesome.
Yeah. How we doing, guys?
I'm good.
Good,
How are
good,
you?
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Connor, are you still in school?
No, we got out last week.
Got it last week. Okay.
Yeah.
And how was that experience for you guys? Were you in 5 days a week?
I was, yeah.
You were? Okay.
Mhm.
You guys masking?
Yes, yeah. Except outdoors. Outdoors, we can take them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same for us. I'm just curious to know if there's any schools out there that aren't masking. I guess there's a couple in southern New Hampshire, but
Oh, really?
I don't know. I can't quite picture it yet. But like I think Manchester apparently. This is what I'm hearing. So I don't really know, but this is what I'm hearing. So, oh God.
My kid's private school was maskless
Yeah. Weren't they like that the whole year though? Yeah.
all
yeah.
year.
Wow. Jeez.
Hi, Alec.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Sam.
How's it going?
Sam Anastasio. How you doing?
Tommy.
Hello there.
So it's just of the JLs, it's just Theo we're missing, and Victor, but Victor had said he had debate team. So
Did not. Do it. I
if you want to debate,
Okay, if I had to explain it, I'd kill it. Yeah. That's what you should have told him. I have debate team. No, you don't. That must be a fun squad to hang around, you know? Nothing ever quite gets decided when you want to go to dinner, you know what I mean?
all
It
right.
is 8 o'clock, and we don't want these sessions to be overly long, but we're here for as long as there might be questions. I guess tonight we wanted to, you guys are obviously, the reason we're doing this is because you're gonna be missing.
There you go. Well, now he's unfrozen. He's moving. That's nice. Can we hear him?
So you and I are in the same internet connection.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's what I checked to start out. Ye of little faith. Wait a minute.
I'm hardwired though.
Oh, okay. Oh, here comes It's not letting me really look at my internet. Yeah, I'm connected to DSL.
Well, we heard nothing of what you said, so if you'd like to start over.
Okay, so these sessions are designed for those who can't be here for staff training, particularly for the junior leaders that will be joining us having had no experience as a, for instance, LIT. And it's going to be important that we do bring you up to speed as much as possible. We want these sessions to be short. Is Joaquin still there? Yeah, Joaquin, we appreciate your being at 2
Yes.
a.m. in France on this call. Love the commitment.
You're welcome.
So I guess we wanted to sort of, in this session, give a general overview of how we see a 3-week session unfolding. We will get into more specifics at later sessions in terms of exactly what's happening at different times of day. However, we're obviously very encouraged by what's happening in society with vaccines going to waste now, interestingly. And the lifting of CDC guidelines, restrictions, and a somewhat return to normalcy. However, we cannot be normal. We can't sort of happen what's happening out there, maybe the interactions people are having, or, we used 2 weeks ago, we had to go into every place with a mask. A lot of places, no more masks, banks, hardware stores, whatever. We can't operate that way though, because we do have a bit of our population that is unvaccinated. And we have to always remind ourselves to be thinking about their vulnerability. So whereas 80% of our population could potentially be vaccinated, 100% of the staff, I think about probably 80% of the seniors. I don't know about the 12 and 13-year-old middlers, maybe 50% of them. None of our juniors can be. And so we will continue with some of the protocol that we've been living with for the last year. But I think at the end of this conversation, you're going to see that we're going to have a pretty normal, we're going to be always asking ourselves, can we choose normal over being overly restrictive? But safety is first, and the safety, particularly those who are unvaccinated. You can still transmit, you can still get COVID if you're vaccinated. Your body does a great job of fighting it off, and maybe you're asymptomatic, but you can also then transmit it. So we're not out of the woods yet, for sure. Yes, we're dealing with a population of younger kids that seem to be handling COVID quite well, maybe asymptomatically as well. But we will be having a very interesting opening day called Kiss and Go. Some of you have heard me say that before. And we will then spend our first week in unit cohorts. It's great that we're sort of structured the way we are. We will be avoiding all camp activities during the first week. We'll be testing on opening day, vaccinated or not, and we'll be testing 5 days in. 24 hours after the second test, we get the results back. If we are a COVID-free community, we expect to break out into pretty much normal camp. What will be different the first week? We'll be eating outside 100% of the time. If it's raining, we'll break out into libraries, 1 unit in the dining hall, say 1 unit in the lodge, but we're setting ourselves up to be able to dine outside. We will therefore not be having in our first week things, this could change. I mean, the world has just shifted dramatically in the last couple of years, last couple of weeks. But we do not envision having all camp activities during the first week. We will not be having, that I can think of right now, and we're still planning. We're still doing a lot of planning here. We've got a lot to do. Most of our focus will be getting on the facility ready, but we're going to start really thinking about the nuts and bolts of programming over the next few days. I would think, just today, you and I were still debating if masks are going to be used at all within cohort in the first 24 or first week. It's possible that we will make a decision that says we're unmasked as cohorts, and on opening night, we're having our usual unit campfire. The next day will be definitely by unit. It's probably going to be a special program until we get 24 hours into our next test. Although one thing that'll obviously be different is free swim, because we can't all intermingle. But morning program during the first week will be essentially the same as what we've experienced in the past. We have a new design for afternoon program during the first week, which also changes the evening program, because, for instance, we can't have Knoll time. So we're probably going to do some activities in the evening that a little non-traditional for evening. We will be still doing flag raising. We will be, each unit will be in a separate box up on the knoll, or coned off area, and each unit will be 6 feet distance from the other unit, a minimum. We're going to try to maintain as many traditions as possible, but once again, all camp activities probably negate password during the first week. We'll probably, meal times are going to take, I think, a little bit longer because we'll be called from our place on the knoll to go through a food line, which is in one door of the dining hall. They'll be shielded, the food will be shielded, and there'll be servers on the other side. We bought some really nice trays, and you'll just tell the server what you want, and you'll go through the line. You'll come out, you'll go in the brick door, you'll come out the side door, and then we'll have designated eating areas. And then when each unit has gotten through, we'll have call for seconds. So that'll be different, maybe a little bit more time consuming. But once again, the orientation during the first week is going to be outdoors. We have moved the weight room up into the upstairs of the lodge. It's well ventilated. We put in fans. We do have more enhanced ventilation in the dining hall, which will be important when we get into week 2 and 3. So week 2 and 3, we anticipate being the traditional William Lawrence camp program that we've experienced in the past. And I will also say that big picture, our second session could look different than our first session, just as things evolve. And already in the last couple of weeks, we've dropped the requirement for vaccinated people to have a COVID test 5 days before they arrive. Joaquin, you'll have to have one just to get on an airplane, but we will, irrespective of vaccination, still have everybody do an opening day test and a 5-day in test. We are also, just so you know, as of tomorrow evening, the staff that are here, which is what, 70% of the staff, we're going through certifications and whatnot, but tomorrow evening, we're all having COVID tests as we go into our pre-camp staff bubble. And then 5 days from now, we'll be having our second test so that we are assured that we'll have some staff. If we get COVID, if we see it tomorrow or we see it in 5 days, we still have time to get that staff person back online so we can open camp. So we're sticking with guidelines that are no longer required, but they're best practices. And just so you know that we're still meeting regularly with a lot of other New Hampshire camps. There's generally about 50 camp professionals from New Hampshire on the calls every Thursday. And people are shifting a little bit, but there are some camps. There were 2 camps in New Hampshire, residential camps like us, that opened last summer. They opened successfully. They did have some COVID, but they managed around it. There were a lot of unknowns last year. But one of those camps, Camp Robin Hood, where we often go for archery, is actually going to have a stricter bubble this year than they had last year. They saw what worked. They learned a few things they could have done differently, and they're going to be in that bubble. Pierce Camp Birchmont, who I have tremendous respect for, Greg Pierce, he's in a strict bubble. Others are loosening things. Others are dropping certain tests for some reasons, or including other tests. But anyway, Jess and I have been wrapping our heads and goose around this for a year now, and we will stay fleet of foot as information is provided. But for now, that's our general approach.
Just to touch on a couple of other things. So for the JLs, you'll be arriving ideally by 6 p.m. on the 26th. Upon your arrival, you will get your first COVID test, and then kind of be prepared for arrival day on the Sunday, the 27th. LITs, you will be arriving by 10 a.m. on the 27th. You will receive your first COVID test. And then you will kind of get a very quick mini training from Goose and I, and then we'll also be helping with arrival day. Arrival day is going to look completely different than it's ever looked before. It's kind of like an assembly line. Parents are going to come through, they're going to be greeted. The cars are going to stop. No one's going to get out. The camper's going to get their nasal swab kind of in front of the farmhouse, which is, Alec, it's our main building, like where our offices are. They're going to swing around towards the bottom of the knoll. They're going to be parallel to the bottom of the knoll, and counselors are going to come to the car to get their stuff out of their trunks. Campers will get out of the car. Parents will be allowed to get out of the car to like hug goodbye, but no parents will be going into the cabins. No parents will be going into the lodge like they used to. No parents will be going to the camp store. So there's a lot less interaction with the parents. It'll just kind of be like a quick hello greeting. You always want to be polite. Make sure you've got a smile on your face. You know, we don't wear sunglasses on that arrival day, and we make sure that, you know, we say hello, introduce ourselves, but it's going to be a very quick interaction with parents. And then campers are going to go up to the cabin to put their stuff away, and we do trunk checks just to make sure that they don't have any electronics in there. They know where all their stuff is. From there, we're still kind of working out if we're going to kind of stay up in the cabin area as a unit, or if they're going to come back down onto the knoll, kind of at the top of the knoll to do some knoll games or go out onto the field. We're still working on that, but we'll reiterate all of this stuff kind of Sunday morning with you before arrival, but I wanted you to be prepared for what arrival is going to look like. And then as Nat said, week 1 is very different than week 2 and 3. And so it'll be a different schedule. And as you go through it, you're going to pick up the little nuances. We don't want to give you every date and time right now for everything that's happening, but big picture, like Nat says, eating by cabin, by unit outside, activities by unit. Half of the day during that first week is basically all free swim, but it's not free swim where everyone can go wherever they want. It's very much everyone will probably be down at the waterfront. There will be a unit up on the brand new fields that Nat planted. There'll be a unit in the boat pier, and there'll be a unit in the swim pier. We'll kind of rotate the 3 units through those 3 areas in the afternoon. So it's free swim in the sense that there's not going to be instruction, but it's not free swim in the sense that you can kind of go wherever you want. We just need to keep a little control until our bubble is maintained. Anything else,
That means
Goose,
that
you wanted to add?
So what Jess is saying is also that means period 4 disappears. It's a waterfront afternoon.
Right.
And then in the evening, we're looking at, right after flag lowering, because we can't have null time, of offering some of the other free swim activities by unit. So maybe, hey, tonight, senior unit, you guys have the tower and riflery. And middle unit, you have archery and something else. And then the juniors, something different. Because we know that people want to go to archery and riflery to get qualifications, or maybe they want to have cover some woodsman tests by having a wilderness skills period in the evening. We, you know, as we say, we can't have normal free swim. So we're being creative, trying to give as robust a program as possible, maybe even a better program. Who knows? We might learn some things that we translate to beyond.
So tonight was kind of prepping you guys for what our thoughts are and how things are going to go. The next like 9 sessions of these are going to be very much like training, very informational. You're going to get, you know, you might want to have a notepad around to take some notes, just some things to kind of keep in mind, reminder. But we do want to open up the end of the sessions for any questions that you have pertaining to the subject that we just talked about. So does anyone have any questions?
How many?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh,
No, you go first.
how many? Do you know how many total campers we're gonna have in the first session?
That's a great question, Tommy. We were going to limit it to 3 cabins for the junior unit, 3 cabins for the middler unit, and 4 cabins for the senior unit.
Yeah.
Ideally, those would be filled with like 8 to 10 campers. It's going to be a little bit less than that. Campers are probably going to be about 6 campers per cabin, especially in the junior unit, maybe 7 in the middler unit. And then the senior unit will probably be 8, but there's going to be 4 cabins in the senior unit.
So, and then there's like a follow-up to this. I don't imagine that there's many, if any, new like first year campers coming this year just because of the everything that's happened. But if there is, I would just say, obviously it's probably going to be extra important to help them transition to their first time at camp.
That is an excellent point, Tommy. You're absolutely correct. We do have quite a few new campers. A lot of them are younger siblings of kids who have been here, or alumni fathers are sending their kids for the first time. But you're right. I think across the board, and we are going to do a session on kind of homesickness and how to make sure everyone's feeling comfortable, because you're 100% correct. That's going to be an interesting issue this summer with all the kids that have been home with their parents for, the whole school year to finally be away. So definitely something we're going to be working on.
Thank you.
A couple quick thoughts before we reach the end of this thing. First of all, I'm going to share with you a doc that I'd like you guys after this or near the end of this session to make sure that you've got for your computer. I've given a link to it, and that's going to be how we get started tomorrow night, is looking at that. I think on a broader point, there's something I want you guys to sort of internalize right now, which is this. In a lot of years, our staff would be bigger. It would be also comprised of a lot of older staff that have come from different countries, and we still have many that are. But it's going to be a smaller staff, and in some cases, it's going to be younger staff. And when I talk about younger staff, I'm talking about you guys. And the thing that you're probably going to hear emphasized within the next 2 weeks, whether it's explicitly stated or if it's sort of implied, doesn't really matter. The point is that you guys are going to have to be your best selves. Building off of what Tom was saying, you're going to have a lot of kids who are completely out to sea this summer, more so than we have seen probably in years before, and they're going to need a big brother / guardian to lean on, who's going to have answers for them and know how to help them. And that's going to be you guys in many, many cases, whether you be a JL or an LIT, doesn't much matter. And so you really are going to have to be 7-8 weeks worth of your best self on this job. And so you're going to get a lot of information on that in the next few sessions. And I know sometimes, speaking as a high school teacher myself, sometimes you say things and you even tell yourself as a teacher, yeah, the student's not going to remember that, and they're just going to have to come back to it. We can't be those people now. This is not online high school. This is online training that you desperately need to do this job well. And so we're going to ask that you really listen to it. We've kept these sessions short because we know how hard it is to pay attention to them for long periods of time. Speaking as the guy who's had to dole the information out. And so we've also done it every night. So to give you the opportunity to get caught up if for what something happens that prevents you from getting to a session. But it is important that you do get caught up and that you do have this information internalized, because I promise you, with only 20 minutes a night, we are giving you nothing but the bare bones necessities here. That we aren't giving you any. We've trimmed out all the fat to the information. It is hugely important. And like I said, when you hear it, you got to really think about how it applies to you and how you're going to conduct yourself. I have faith in all of you, and 100%. I just want you to make sure you got your heads, screwed on straight for what you guys are going to be stepping into as far as a work environment goes. It's going to be asking a lot of you, especially for young men your age. That's my
Any final questions or thoughts?
I have a question. But it's more about like our life at camp rather than like a training based question.
Okay.
Is that fine or?
Yes, of course.
Whatever it is.
So, as LITs, are we able to bring our phones or no electronic devices still?
You can bring your phone. It will be locked in your locker until you have free time. And
Yes.
LIT free time is limited. So
Mhm.
don't expect to be on it every day. Don't expect, specific a number of hours. But when you are given free time and off time, you will absolutely be allowed to use your phone.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sam, did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are LICs living in a cabin week 1, or are we gonna be assigned to a cabin?
You're going to be living in an LIT cabin week 1. Gustav is going to be with you, we think. He's very excited to have you guys all back because he had you like when you were juniors. So, but you will be in an LIT cabin together for week 1, 2 and 3, and then weeks 2 and 3 of session 1, you'll be in cabin with campers. You know that week 4 is your LIT trip. So you'll be planning that and going off for your trip. And then weeks 5, 6, and 7, which is all of second session, you'll be in cabin immediately with campers.
There are 12 LITs.
It's a really good group. I'm super excited. And JLs, you go into cabins right away. You are second in command in those cabins. So this is what Goose was talking about.
We are very.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Om.
Is there like anywhere we can see the names of the LITs coming back, just to see if we know any like familiar faces or names?
Well, hold on. Let me look. Let me bring it up. I think I can tell you right now.
Thank you.
Let's see. There's one new kid that we don't really know. Hasn't been a camper. Then Michael Kalinichenko, Connor Mercer, Nick Romalovsky, Noah Beston, Keller Evans, Sam Anastasio, Matt Garrity, Jake Burgess, Drew Hohenstein, Nate Fever, and Om Mehta.
It's a good group.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. As I said, maybe a notebook and a paper and pen just close by tomorrow in case there's kind of some notes, and make sure you open that link now before we end this session so that you have that document that Goose shared in the chat.
Yeah, it looks like they all did.
Awesome.
Right there. That's great.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
I-
Jess, do I do anything now to end the recording, or?
Do you want to stop the recording? Yeah.
Hang on, I need to read off my credit card
Like
number.
end the record.
I don't know how to do that. Doesn't say anything here for me. Oh,
Is it
stop-
Alt R again?
Does it say record on?
Stop recording is Alt R. Well, I could just press this